Story 1, by Caleb Fletcher. My name is Caleb Fletcher. I'm 16 years old, and this happened around 8 to 9 months ago, on Saturday, August 24th. School had been in session for about 2 weeks, so to de-stress a little, I decided to see if my friends, whom I'll call Griffin and Broly, wanted to hop on Fortnite. My mom and sister were out shopping, my dad was working, and I was bored. It was around 8 p.m. when we finally got on to play because I had decided to make pizza rolls beforehand and ended up burning the batch. After a few rounds, I could tell my friends were getting tired of losing, so they logged off after only an hour. I planned on just lying down with my phone and going to bed. That was until I heard my 2 dogs barking outside. It's not unusual for them to bark, given how people typically walk on the side of the road, but I still looked anyway just to make sure. I didn't see anybody, but seconds after looking out the window, I heard our garage door open and shut. That usually means my dad is home from work, but I didn't see his van outside, and he had texted me earlier telling me that he would be working late tonight. I decided to walk downstairs into the dining room and look out the window to get a better view. From there, I could see that our driveway was empty, there wasn't a person or vehicle in sight. I wasn't the type to go investigate, so I ran back up to my bedroom and texted my family group chat to ask if anybody was home. I told my mom about the garage door, and she told me to turn off the lights, lock my bedroom door, and stay there until she got home. So I did just that. About 15 minutes later, I thought I heard our wooden floor downstairs creaking, like someone was trying to be sneaky. I didn't have anything to use as a weapon, so I unclipped my microphone's boom arm from my desk and quietly opened the door. I walked out onto our upstairs balcony and looked over, trying to see if I could spot anyone hiding or anything suspicious. I stupidly yelled, "Is anybody there?" Like they were really going to answer. I thought everything was fine until I saw a large silhouette of someone standing underneath the balcony. I panicked and ran to the closest room with a door, which happened to be my small bathroom. The intruder must have known I noticed them because I heard loud and fast footsteps running up our stairs as I locked myself in the bathroom. I had stupidly left my phone in the bedroom, which was the room right next to me. After I built up enough courage, I bolted into my bedroom, locking the door as soon as I got in. My sister's room was right across from mine, and its door was open, so I figured the intruder must have been in there. After locking my bedroom door, I grabbed my phone and typed 911 into it. Just before I called, I noticed that the storage room in my wall was open just a tad. I saw a dark brown eye peeking through the crevice, staring into my soul. The pure terror I felt in that moment is something I'll never forget. I booked it down the stairs and out my front door, running up the hill to my neighbor's house. He was a police officer. He alerted the other cops while I stayed with his wife, and he went down to investigate. I told him exactly where the intruder was hiding in my bedroom. Minutes later, I ran back down the hill to see if the intruder had been caught. When I walked in, I saw a tall, skinny man with a gray beard and a dirty black coat being pushed onto the floor by my neighbor as he was getting handcuffed. I'm not allowed to be home alone anymore, and we have better security around our house now. My family was just happy to know I wasn't hurt, and they were thankful for my neighbor's bravery. I don't wish an experience like this on anybody, not even my worst enemy. A few months ago, while driving for DoorDash as a side gig, usually 10 to 15 hours a week, I had an unsettling experience. That night, I was only doing a couple of orders since it was already late. Around 1 a.m. I picked up a small order destined for a business building across town. The address indicated it was a typical delivery for overnight workers. When I arrived, the parking lot was empty, with no cars and no parking lot behind the building. I parked near the front, grabbed the food, and approached the building. It was a small, two-story office building, and all the lights were off except for one near the front door. Checking the app, I saw specific drop-off instructions to enter the main hallway and leave the bag outside room 232. Peering through the door, I saw a hallway with closed doors on either side. This was different from my usual deliveries to hotels. I pushed on the door, and it was unlocked, so I stepped inside. Expecting to hear people working or talking, I was met with complete silence, only the buzzing of overhead lights. The first few doors were numbered in the 100s, so I assumed room 232 was on the second floor. In the middle of the hallway was a doorway leading to a dark staircase, held open by a door stopper. I stepped into the stairwell and noticed it was pitch black, with no light coming from above. The eerie silence sent a chill through me. Normally, I followed instructions to ensure good reviews, but this felt too sketchy. As I stepped back into the hallway, a door across from me opened. A man in street clothes, not looking like an office worker, emerged. He pointed at the stairwell, saying, "232 is up there." I nodded but didn't move, and neither did he. After a tense few seconds, I dropped the bag on the ground and quickly walked to the exit. I heard his footsteps heading up the stairs as I left the building. I got in my car and left, unsure if I was overreacting. The next day, the police called me. The office had reported a break-in, and CCTV footage showed my car and license plate. They questioned me about any information I might have. I learned that 3 people had broken in, 1 downstairs, who I saw, and 2 hiding at the top of the stairs. Disturbingly, several other delivery orders had been made to that same office that night. The other drivers had left the orders outside the front door. What would have happened if any of us had gone up to the second floor is unknown, but hopefully, the police can find the 3 men before anyone falls victim to their plan. I worked the night shift at a mid-sized grocery store, typically 10-hour shifts. Our store was dealing with staffing issues, leaving every department understaffed and overworked, including overnight stocking. Usually, I had one person helping me 5 nights a week, but this night, I was on my own. I started my shift at 10 p.m., and by after running some numbers in the office, I began pulling out loads of boxes to the aisles to start unpacking and stocking. Despite being alone, I had to get everything done, so I worked hard and quickly, without taking a break. Suddenly, I heard a tapping sound echoing through the store. It sounded like someone tapping on a window at the front of the store. I checked my watch for the first time since I walked to the front and saw someone outside the store. He was leaning against the window, trying to look inside. When he saw me, he stared. I asked what he wanted. He looked homeless and told me to open the door. His face was expressionless. I told him we were closed and that he couldn't be here, then turned to walk away. He immediately banged on the window, not tapping like before, but harshly banging. I looked back and saw him with his fist against the glass, clearly enraged. Thinking he was crazy, I told him I'd call the cops if he didn't leave and started to pull out my phone to show I was serious. Only then did he step away from the window, still with that angry look, and walked into the parking lot. Seeing him leave, I put my phone away and got back to work. We get a lot of crazy customers, so I didn't think much of it. I needed to focus on getting my work done. Maybe 15 minutes later, I heard a sudden sound echo through the store. It sounded like metal snapping or scraping. I quickly dropped what I was doing and ran to the front. Nobody was at the windows, so I went to the entrance door. It was one of those revolving glass doors with a bolt lock at the top to keep it from opening when the store is closed. Right away, I saw that the bolt was missing, not just unlocked, but completely gone. I pressed my hand on the door, and it glided around, allowing anyone to get in. My face turned white as I realized what this meant. I needed to call the police immediately. I turned to go to the front office, but found myself face to face with that guy from before. He was only a few feet away, still with that enraged stare. I didn't hesitate to run out the revolving door, hearing him follow close behind. An old van sped up to the front, nearly hitting me, but I kept running until I got to my car. When I got inside, I noticed the guy wasn't chasing me anymore, and the van was speeding out of the parking lot. I called the cops and spent the next couple of hours explaining what happened. The next day, we reviewed security footage of the man breaking in, but the image quality wasn't great. We can almost be sure they were trying to get me into their van, but we don't know why. If I hadn't been quick, I probably wouldn't have been seen again.